everything that I've ever touched turned to gold. I'm an overachiever. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do good at it. Like, I'm a winner. I'm a natural born winner. It don't have nothing to do with money. I just like to win. I like to build. I like to create. Like, I'm the winner. I don't care if it's 1,000 people in the room. I win. Like, that's just always been my energy. That's always been my mentality. Like, it's almost like I'm an athlete. I mean, you know.
No, you got that mentality.
Yeah, I have an athlete mentality. Like, I'm going to be better than everybody here, right? That's always been my mindset. Not in an arrogant way, but I just believe in myself that much that I am the best.
What's good with it? What's poppin'? What it is, what it ain't, what it could be, what it should be, what it would be. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Cam Newton, the son, Mr. Boogity, all here with another episode of Funky Friday. And I promise, I really do promise to get good content for the masses, but ladies and gentlemen, most of all, I just promise to always keep it funky. Now, you talking about people that had runs as sports athletes, people that have impact in culture. This particular individual is still that chick in regards to business, because what she's been able to do is something that I've never seen in my lifetime. You feel what I'm saying? And hopefully it'll inspire others to be even more. This particular individual is an entrepreneur, reality TV star, author, philanthropist, former TV producer, daughter, sister, wife, most importantly, a mom. I present the some and introduce the others. Miss Pinky Cole.
Come on with that intro. I got to clap for you for that intro. That was a damn good intro.
Yeah. Or should I say, what up, slut? Hey, slut. I said, whoa, wait a minute.
You know your stuff.
Anybody who knows this particular individual, if you ever go into her establishment, it's intrusive.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Gets the people going.
Provocative.
Keeps the people
I'm
talking.
trying to tell you, like, what was it about that made you feel like, no, lean in, call people sluts. Hey, heifer, what's going on? Like, what's the story behind that?
So first of all, a lot of people don't know this. I was in my 2-bedroom apartment and I hit the blunt. Okay? It was a great strand. Yes, it was a great strand. And if I could find that strand again, okay, that strand was fantastic. I was sitting in my 2-bedroom apartment and Slutty Vegan just hit me out of nowhere. And I'm an idea machine, Cam, right? Like, I'm the person, if you around me, like, you're going to get 30 ideas. So I knew that this one was good because I did not want to share it. And I called up my best friends. I'm like, I got this idea. It's called Slutty Vegan. And they started laughing. They were like, Slutty Vegan? Why are you calling people sluts? I'm like, because it's going to spark dialogue, okay? I used to be a producer for The Maury Show, okay? So what people pay attention to is sex and food, okay? We all like to have sex and we all need what?
Food.
We all need food.
For sure.
So if I could call people sluts and then connect it to veganism, I'm going to make people ask questions. And that's exactly what I did.
So that mentality of business, was that something that always has been there? Like, where did that knowing of, like, I want to take business serious and that's my sport?
Well, my father, he was sentenced to almost 30 years in prison the day that I was born. So I was born on December 8th, and the day that I was born, he was getting his sentencing, okay? So how ironic is it that I'm coming into the world, I'm getting my freedom, here it is, I'm a newborn, being born to my mother, and he's losing his freedom.
Yeah.
And that day, I'm like, you know, I'm coming into the world, and I knew that my mother was like, all right, I got to make sure that my child has the best life possible, because now I'm doing this by myself.
Yeah.
And my mother got 4 kids. So growing up, my father was in prison. He called me literally 3 times a week, okay? Teach me about stocks, tell me to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, teach me about entrepreneurship. He was a hustler.
Yeah.
And then my mom worked at the same company now 37 years, same company, and is a musician. So she's the lead singer of a reggae band. So I used to grow up watching my mother perform at shows. So like she's like a local celebrity in the DMV area. So my family always been famous growing up.
Yeah.
So we used to have basement parties. We used to have all these things. So I knew that I wanted to make it. Like I wanted to be a star. So my grandmother used to watch me when my mother would be at work, and we used to watch Golden Girls, Laverne and Shirley, all them shows. And I used to be a kid, and I'm like, I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna be a billionaire. And all my friends would laugh at me, Cam. All of them, they'd be like, this girl crazy, what's wrong with her? I'm like, I'm gonna make it. Like, y'all can stay here, I'm gonna make it. And I had that mentality all of my life. So in high school, I was the youngest party promoter in high school, literally. Every single week, I'm throwing parties making $4,000 a week at 15, 16 years old. I'm almost 40 now. At 15 years old, I'm passing out flyers after school, calling up rec centers, acting like an adult, putting my whole parties together. And I was the youngest party promoter in Baltimore City. And then when I graduated high school, I went to Clark Atlanta University, came down to Atlanta. Guess what I started doing? Hair, okay? And I'm like, all right, one thing I know how to do is I know how to put pieces together. I started doing hair, and then I started joining all the organizations. I became a member of Delta Sigma Theta. I was Miss Junior. I was Miss Omega Psi Phi. I became Miss Clark Atlanta University, NAACP, did all of the things because I'm like, one thing I know how to do is bring people together. So if you see the trajectory, all of my life, I had this hustle energy in me, but it's because I got it from my mother and my father. You know what I'm saying?
I think the thing when I first came to know of Pinky, being in Atlanta, I know my peoples. If it don't got nothing to do with fashion or performance, black people ain't standing outside for nothing.
For nothing.
There was this viral clip of just people standing and people standing and people standing, and then you finally get to a food truck in this open parking lot. And not just to say it was the food, it's to say that it's vegan food. And I'm like, yo, who is this? I'm sending it to everybody. I'm like, bro, we got to get us a food truck, bro, because if this is the impact, and it's almost crazy because that's when the world kind of shut down too. Yeah. It was like, yo, who is doing this? And it's almost like that part of Frank Lucas of American Gangster where it's like, a nigga can't be responsible for all this impact. And on the flip side in this situation, a woman can't be responsible for this type of impact. A dude gotta be behind it. And lo and behold,
it was me.
It was you.
It was me. Let me tell you something. A couple months before I opened up Slutty Vegan, my cousin graduated from Howard University with her PhD. There was a prophet that came to the house. He was having a big cookout. And she walked up to me. She said, who you for? And I said, what do you mean? She said, who's your parents? And I said, there's my mother right there. And she told my mother to come in. And she looked at me and my mother. And she said, investors are going to throw money at your feet. You are going to travel around the world. And people are going to be inspired by what it is that your hands create. So I'm looking at her like, what you talking about, lady? And could you imagine that 3 months later, I created Slutty Vegan. And since 2018, it has been the biggest hit. Eyes have not seen what Slutty Vegan has done. I can remember waking up days, I got put out of the prep kitchen that I was in because I had too many people coming. And the other attendants was like, well, we can't make no money because she's bringing all of these people here, right? Like, I didn't know the first thing about a food truck. The only reason why I got a food truck is because I got put out of the prep kitchen. So I had to get a food truck. So I went down the street to a place called Mr. V's. In Atlanta, and for my restaurant people, y'all know Mr. V's. He's been around for years. And I said, listen, I need a food truck. I got this big audience, and I don't know what to do with them. So he let me pay $10,000 a week until I paid off a $40,000 food truck.
Hold up, what?
$10,000 a week until I paid off a $40,000 food truck.
I ain't the best at math, but $10,000 a week, not a month. That's $40,000 a month.
You gotta understand, I'm making $20,000 every day.
Did not know that.
$20,000 every day. Like, this ain't no small fry, no pun intended.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? So here it is. I get this food truck, don't know nothing about a food truck, and now I got lines down the block. Yeah. I got people standing in line with their lawn chairs, with their umbrellas. They getting their kids after school. They paying people to stand in line. And I'm like, oh shit, this is bigger than food. This ain't got nothing to do with food. Now, I could do a lot of things. I was the queen of my school. I did that. I was prom queen in high school. I did that. I did all of the things. But this it was different because what I realized is I'm like, if I can bring Black people together in a way where they're not arguing, they're not fighting, we ain't standing in line for cell phones, and they still being patient, I got something special. And that is what created this $100 million brand.
Yeah, I see so much into it, but I want to kind of go back to something real quick. You spoke about your parents being of Jamaican descent, and speaking with the prophet as well as your father being incarcerated. I read that they, if not you, practice Rastafarian. Can you explain what that actually is?
So Rastafarianism is Ethiopian Christianity,
okay,
right? So I grew up not eating meat. I ain't never seen my mother wear makeup. She ain't never wear earrings. She ain't never shave. TMI, but she's just a very natural woman. Long locks, hair touch the ground. So I grew up extra conscious. Like, I didn't grow up eating candy. Ain't never have a cavity in my life. Like, we had a home cooked meal every single day except for Fridays. Because in Jamaican households, you got to fend for yourself on Fridays. I probably went to McDonald's once a quarter, okay? Like, I grew up in a very regimented house as it relates to what it is that we ate, right? So growing up, we would eat chicken here and there because my grandmother would eat chicken, but my mother was very strict, never ate pork in my entire life. And I just followed how my mother lived. She was very natural, very conscious, a very honest woman, operates with integrity, high level of character, still like that today. So as I was being raised, my father was in prison, but I was learning from a very independent woman, a woman who went out and got everything it is that she wanted. My mother didn't get her citizenship until I was 13 years old. You understand what I'm saying? So she came to this country as a dancer. She was traveling the world as a dancer, and that's how she met my dad. She came to this country to follow her dreams, and then she ended up having to raise kids. So now, in the back of my mind, as I'm growing up, I'm like, I don't want to live like this. I don't want nothing to stifle or stumble my dreams, so I've always been a hard worker. Anytime I put my name on something, I always do it at 1,000%. All of the time. And I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Like, you're an overachiever like me. And that's why we're successful. You understand what I'm saying?
Tell me about how did we come with Pinky? Where did Pinky derive from?
Since I was born. That's been my name since I was born.
For real?
I was pink when I was a baby. You can't tell now. But I was pink when I was a baby. And my godmother, Yvonne, she was like, she's pink. We're going to call her Pinky. And for my entire life, my name has been Pinky Cole.
You know, the thing about it is, the backstory to obviously, you and myself, there was a time, I believe, circa 2017 or 18, as I was mentioning in the green room. This was before Fellowship was created. This was we were in the last phases of construction, and I just wanted, entrepreneurs to kind of see it, just to put it in front of other people's eyes to see what it was missing. I did not know anything about restaurants, and 8 years later, here we are, still in business. And
the food was incredible then.
For sure.
Yes.
And I say that to say it was I was trying to explore some partnership in some capacity with a woman that I've never seen that type of impact. That's not to say that it didn't exist. Me specifically, I just haven't seen it. You were cool, you were vibrant, you were electric, and still to this day, it shows I don't know who she is, but she got this wit about her that you can make anybody believe in your vision. And shout out to Shaka. It was me, you, and Shaka, and I was like, what's next? Are you expanding? Are you doing? And everything was kind of y'all would look at each other. It was like,
I don't think Shaka ain't know what to do with me.
we working on some things. And I'm like, if there's ever an opportunity, I want in because I believe in you. I believe in any time of the you see that type of cultural impact. Like you said, if you ain't standing outside for technology, a concert, or no doggone shoes, it was it was awakening. But in the light of these last couple of months, your image took a hit. And it's this person, this person that everybody was kind of shifting, Time Magazine, AJC, being a very influential figure. How did you and how do you feel in regards to how people look at you now?
Jesus took a hit. Jesus stood in front of that cross. And obviously I'm not comparing myself to Jesus, but, I believe that every single thing that has happened in my life was so intentional and is so intentional for good reason. Back in 2016, I had a Jamaican restaurant that caught on fire, lost everything, got evicted, car got repoed, wages got garnished, almost lost my mind, was in a relationship at the time, he went to jail. Everything fell apart for me. And then Slutty Vegan came, and I built a $100 million brand, and I made the Time 100 list, and I made the Forbes list twice, and I made the cover of Essence magazine, and I made the cover of Black Enterprise magazine, and I did all of these things, and then I lost that $100 million brand. So you think if it happened before and I got it all back times 10, what you think about to happen right now? It's about to happen times 44, and I believe that God had this happen on purpose, okay? I only operate underneath of the assignment. And my assignment is to connect people, okay? I ain't never met a stranger in my life. So I always make this analogy that my life is like what a merchandiser does in a retail shop, okay? A merchandiser puts clothes on a mannequin so that people can see the vision in real time to see if they want to tap into the vision, okay? God had to put me on display cam. Okay? And sometimes being on display is uncomfortable, but I'm so glad that I got that level of display because every room that I walk in, I can relate to somebody. Yeah. I can relate to somebody poor. I can relate to somebody rich. I can relate to somebody who got money. I can relate to somebody who ain't got no money. I can relate to somebody who's made millions of dollars, and I can relate to somebody who's lost it all. And that is what you call range. You ever hear pastors that say, I don't want to be with nobody that ain't got no experience. I got the experience. Now, did the experience feel comfortable at all times? Hell no, it didn't. It was hard because here it is, like all the history that I've created, it's almost like I got to rewrite it. Yeah. Right? Like I find myself looking at people like, oh, well, she's not a business owner. She don't know what she's doing. Well, how is that possible when I've been in business for almost 8 years and for the first 6 years, my run was crazy. Like that didn't just happen out of nowhere. But I believe that it happened on purpose because this level of rocket ship that's taken off this go round is going to be bigger and it's going to be brighter and better. But this time it comes with a testimony. And that level of testimony is really going to inspire a lot of people. And I'm really like ready for the ride this time, but in a more intentional way.
Let me ask you this, because I've seen you make yourself, and I commend you for this, for being so accessible to the obvious. But like what I've been or bear witness to with some of my colleagues, as athletes, you come into a large sum of money. And we always hear the devastations of that person broke. That person ain't got it no more. The embarrassment that looms just with the sheer knowing of like, golly, I messed up. Yeah. My first question is, Pinky Cole, are you broke?
Absolutely not. And I'm not embarrassed by people saying it because you only get embarrassed by things that are true.
Now, my next thing is, how did we get here where I think that testimony needs to be said in a very intentional, descriptive way, because what you've been through is what somebody is going through.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we all hear the chapter this or the bankruptcy that, and it's like, oh, look at you now. I lost it all, or I'm losing some shit. Like, I don't know what it means, but what does that specifically mean to you of how you got to a point where we've seen it kind of unravel?
You know, it's very interesting because white people do it all the time.
That's a fact.
White people do it all the time, okay? And
when you say they do it, in reference to?
They file bankruptcy all the time. Okay. Not just white people, but other races file bankruptcy all the time.
Wealthy people do
Wealthy, forget the race.
Yes.
Wealthy people file bankruptcy all the time.
It's a strategy.
It's a strategy. When you think about the U.S. Bankruptcy Code, it is a tool. Okay? But the problem is there's a stigma in our community that when you talk about Big Bertha, it means that you're broke. But that is the lack of education because not many people in our community have ever been brave enough to proudly speak about it. I'll wait. You name one.
No, it's something that
I'll wait.
We look the part, but we aren't the part.
Exactly. So for somebody like me who's so vocal and honest and transparent about what happens in business sometimes, now people who don't have the level of understanding will immediately go to broke because it's called ignorance, okay? So when I think about my business, I had $20 million in debt, okay? So if I got $20 million in debt, that means that I'm dealing with some real paper. I'm not dealing with no foo-foo money.
No, for sure. You can't even get able to get loans or lines of credit without the ability to show that you can pay it off. So
what happened in my business, and I'm going to share with you the pieces that I don't publicly talk about because it's my truth, and I'm going to share my truth with you. $20 million in debt. We did a lot of great things. We had a really good run in business, and that run is starting over. That first run, we opened up 14 locations. We bought $10 million in real estate. We did all of the things, right? Like, so nobody could ever say, like, the infrastructure of the business was organized. We had the C-suites. We had all of the things. You've never seen it before. So, like, we were running. But what happens with startup companies, especially Black-owned businesses, if you don't have the level of financial support to continue to fund you so that you can grow, you're going to crumble, no matter how, no matter what you try to do. So here it is. I remember the person in my leadership at the time, it was March 2023, and he called me and he said, Pinky, we got $5 million left in the bank. And I'm like, $5 million? I mean, to the naked eye, that's a lot of money. Yeah, and I'm like, $5 million ain't no money. And he was like, by December, we're gonna be done. And I'm like, here it is, I'm pregnant. I just found out I was pregnant. My due date was in December. So in my mind, and at the time I wasn't running the company, okay? So I wasn't running day-to-day of the company. I'm the mascot. I'm doing all the interviews. I'm doing all of it.
You're the ambassador.
I'm the ambassador, as I should be at that time. Sure. I'm not the day-to-day operator. I have people in position doing what they're supposed to do, what I paid them to do. Right. So I get the call that we got $5 million left in the bank. So once upon a time when, investors are laying at my feet, now all of a sudden they're like, we don't really know, right? This was in the height of the pandemic where supply chain was crazy. It was costing me $800,000 to $900,000 to open up a store, one store. Remember I said 14 stores. So we get down to December, and I'll never forget it. That same person was like, hey, we might have to file for bankruptcy. I said, I'm not filing for no bankruptcy. Are you crazy? And here it is, my ego is in the way. I'm like, I'm not filing for bankruptcy. They was like, well, investors, they don't want to reinvest. They don't want to put more money in the business because while the business is still making money, we're making double-digit millions, okay? We still making money, but we have so much overhead, right? So that bottom line ain't green, it's red. Yeah. So our C-suite is crazy. We got like $1 million in C-suite for the year. My payroll.
Press pause real quick. Now, for the business for dummies.
C-suite is your executives, right? So that's CMOs, your CFOs, like all the C's, all the people who are high level in your business. So that adds up to $1 million alone. I'm not even talking about my 400-something employees. Yeah. So while we're operating a functional business, like the business was clean, I'm talking about state of the art. You would have thought we was working at Google. Things were way too expensive. We were way too ambitious for where we were in business. And then also, I could be honest about this now. There were some locations that we should have never opened up, right? It felt right at the time, but the locations that we put Slutty Vegans in, some of them, the people where we put Slutty Vegan, they couldn't afford the food. I'm just being honest.
Now, do you, and I'm not saying this to bash, I want to get out of this, or want somebody to get out of this, empowering in a business TED Talk, respectfully, because you don't go through what you go through and not be able to dissect what you've been through. Either you learn through life experiences or you learn from somebody else's. And that's what I want people to kind of get from. Now, if I ask this question in regards to knowing what you know now, what would you do different? The 4th of July is here. And if you're anything like me, you know that the celebrations start way before the fireworks. It's figuring out not only where everybody's pulling up, who's on the grill, what is and who's responsible for the playlist. And most importantly, making sure your fit is right. And that's why I love me some Macy's. Whether you're hosting your cookout, just showing up, you can knock out everything in one stop. Grab the outfit, the shoes, and all the countless accessories. But peep this though, you can also get what you need for the backyard setup. Not you running all over town. Man, you got a place there's a one-stop shop where you can piece everything together. Try to fit on, make sure it feels right. Put the whole fit together before the day gets here. That's how you avoid last-minute surprises.
There will be a couple of things that I would do different. I would not have walked away from my business when I did, to be honest, right? I had all the people in place, I had all the C's, I had all the things, and they did a great job running the company, but I wasn't paying attention to it. I was paying attention to the marketing, right? Because one thing about me is I'm a creative. I wasn't paying attention to the marketing. Yeah. I was paying attention to the marketing, but I was not paying attention to the operations of the business. Yeah. And the reason why is because I didn't create Slutty Vegan to make money. I just didn't. Like, it was a passion project for me. And like, I love the business so much. I love making people feel good. I love calling people sluts. I love when people enjoy my experience.
And it's not just calling them sluts. They were accepting because that was the brand.
And they still are.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, you speaking was, but it is.
No,
that's what it still is. People still stand in line.
You go
people
to a Slutty Vegan, and when you open that door, it's almost like a cult. Like, boom, hey, slut!
Yeah, but I created an experience that you've never seen before. So it was never about the money for me. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be honest, and no disrespect to my investors, I wanna say, shout out to Richie Lou Dennis, okay? Like, if it wasn't for him, none of this would have been possible, right? Like, and I'll be honest, we had conversations before, like, you know, I felt some type of way for a long time because, you know.
With him or just you?
Just the whole process, right? But like, he walked up to me in my first location when I had a line down the block, and he did what nobody else has ever done for me. He believed in my dream, and I'll never take that away from him, which is why I always will respect him no matter what, right? So he is my lead investor, and then I had some other investors. So here it is, $20 million in debt. I wasn't the one communicating with my investors, my other leadership was. So rightfully so, they like, no, we're not putting no more money in the business. Like, we not. Right? So here it is. I'm mad. I'm like, come on, y'all help. Like, we need your help. But they, you know, now that I look back, hindsight 2020, they saw something that we didn't. They was just like, you know, we just don't want to put more money in the business at this time. Right? And
what was the reasoning though?
We just had so much debt. we had so much debt. We had all the software, all of these things. It was just so much debt. And it was, in order for us to stabilize where we needed to stabilize, all we needed was like $3 to $5 million. That's all we needed was like $3 to $5 million. But now $3 to $5 million come at a cost, right? When you have these locations, you have all of this, that, and when investors are looking at the numbers and they like, yeah, y'all making a lot of money, but look what y'all are burning every week. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So now we built this big infrastructure. So when you cut something, it's critical. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? You cut the marketing team, that's the business. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And we start cutting things and you started to feel it. So now it's compromising the experience of the business. So now I come back in the company. I had my baby in 2023. The first thing I do, I'm asking them for money. They like, we'll give you money, but it's going to be expensive money. And I'm like, all right, well, watch me work. I picked up the phone and I called Robert Smith. And I said, Robert, I got this property for $2.5 million in DC. Can I sell it to you? 3 days, he gave me the money. 3 days. So now in my mind, I'm going into that hustler, the hustler that used to throw the parties back in the day. Right?
You triggered an emotion.
Exactly. Because now I got that 2018 energy again. Because I'm like, all right, everybody's playing with me. I'm going to show y'all that I'm going to get my business back to where it needs to be. Right? So I start selling off my real estate. You know, the property, the Delia's off of Northside and Marietta, I owned that. I sold that property, $2.5 million. So I'm getting a liquid from all of these properties because I'm like, listen, the best thing that we could have ever done is buy real estate.
For sure.
Okay?
That doesn't lose value.
It don't lose no value. So I got 10 million. That's why I laugh when people say I'm broke. I'm like, we're different kinds of broke. Okay? It's levels to broke. Okay? So when I sell this property, I'm like, all right, boom. Then I own a headquarters on Edgewood. That's another $2.5 million.
First off, with that being said, shout out to Slutty Vegan on Edgewood because every single experience that I've had, probably the last 5 times, it has been on Edgewood. Yeah. I don't want to say it, but to me, that's the flagship.
Well, it is.
It's the flagship.
I do incredibly well at that location.
Yes.
So I owned a plot of land on Edgewood. I sold that, $1 million. I had another building on Edgewood, $2.5 million. Like, I got properties. Like, and these aren't personal properties. These are my business properties. So I'm like, okay, if I can't get the money from my investors, I'm going to just liquidate. Yeah. So I started liquidating. It was working. But the problem is I got to come up with an extra $100,000 every single week after all of the money come into business. Because I'm doing payroll every single week. My payroll at the time was like $380,000 a week. That's the kind of broke I am, a week. And I still got to come up with $100,000, right?
Yeah.
So mind you, when I came back in the company in 2024, I hadn't run my company for 2.5 years. Wow. So I'm a new hire in my own business. I don't know where nothing is. The only thing I know is my email address. So I'm asking people like, okay, what's this? Where is this? Where is this SOP? I'm the person that created this business. I got it to a certain point where we raised money. And then once we got the money in, I put people in place and I went on cruise control. That's the worst thing that I could have ever done in my business. You understand what I'm saying? And they tell you when you get the money, you hire the right people, but it's not enough to just hire the right people and just go on cruise control. You still got to have your third eye on the wheel, because if you don't, people start doing it their way. And they start controlling and navigating the way that they want, and it no longer becomes a passion project. It's, all right, what's the bottom line? Let's talk numbers. Oh, well, we're going to do it differently, or we're going to change this recipe so it can be cheaper. So now you compromise the quality of the whole entire experience. So we get to a point, I get to one property, and I'm about to sell this property, and guess what I found out? I'm like, all right, I got an EIDL loan. And I knew that I had an EIDL loan, but I didn't realize that there was collateral on one of my properties for that EIDL loan.
Now, business for dummies.
Okay, I know, I'm sorry. Let me take it down a little bit.
No,
okay.
You stay here, but just...
So for the people who don't understand, I'm talking to you, okay? Collateral. That means they will give you money, but they're going to hold on to something that you already own just in case you don't pay, okay?
Or default.
Or default. So one of the properties that I was supposed to sell the night before I found out that that property was tied to my EIDL loan, which was $1.4 million. Now hold on to that number, because the $1.4 million, I'm sure you saw that on the news.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that was not me personally. That was from my company.
Okay.
But because I was a personal guarantor,
yes,
I had to eat it. You following me? So anyway, so I couldn't sell that property right away. It took me 14 weeks, okay, to remove the collateral. And I end up having to sell the property, and the proceeds of it was like $700,000. And I had to put it on to the EIDL loan, which brought it down to $1.4 million, right? So because I had that 14-week lag, I couldn't pay my payroll. And my investors was like, hey, just put the company through a restructure. Like, we this is where we at. Just put the company through a restructure. And I'm like, y'all, like, this is going to be a PR nightmare. Like, here it is. We have this incredible company. I don't want to be no Netflix documentary. I just don't. Yeah. Right? And it was like, okay, this is where we are. So I fought. I fought for a long time, and I cried for a long time. I was depressed for a while, because I'm like, here it is, still lines down the block. I'm like, y'all, do y'all not see what I see? Yeah. Like, there's lines down the block. There's people that love my brand. Like, help me. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm only saying this now because I've healed from it, and I'm not even mad at them. I wouldn't change a thing. I'm glad that they did it how they did it, because if I could go back and turn back the hands of time, I would have did the restructure a long time ago. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, so I finally woke up one day and I said, you know what? I'm gonna do the restructure. I can't take it no more. Like, I started pulling out money out of my pocket, $84,000 a week out of my pocket, to make sure that my employees were paid. Yeah. Now, I'm already dealing with the reputational hit from Bar Vegan. Yeah. Okay, you remember that?
No, right here on Pont City Market.
Pont City Market had Bar Vegan. My leadership in that company was running the company, and now my CFO has since been indicted for stealing from me in that company. But guess whose name was on the door? You. Mine. So now Pinky don't pay people. That's where the Pinky don't pay people narrative come from. And I'm like, shit, I wasn't even running that company either. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
They don't care about
that.
They
don't care.
We see Time Magazine, yes. We see Forbes, we see a person that's flaunting business.
They don't care. Mm-hmm. So which is why I've took accountability for everything, because I could have literally have been unprofessional and said a lot of names out loud, but for what? Yeah. Success is my biggest revenge when it comes to Slutty Vegan and all of the great things. And here it is, we're in the biggest economic crisis and my business is still thriving. Yeah. People are still coming through the door. You see my pop-ups that I have, lines still down the block. People are still patiently waiting. So when I did that restructure, February 2025, it meant I no longer owned the business anymore, okay? And for 43 days, that's when I didn't own the company.
Who did?
The estate took over. So my investors, they were removed off the cap table. They didn't have anything to do with the business anymore, nothing.
But there wasn't a sole proprietor that had...
No, just the estate took over. They
Correct.
took over the rest of the assets. They took over the rest of the debt. Remember, I was a corporation. So even though I'm the founder, the CEO and the founder, I had literally partners. I had probably like 20 partners, okay? And when you become a corporation, like you shouldn't be personally liable for what's happening in the business because you're a part of a corporation and there's other people that have signed their name on as partners to this business, okay? So when it was time to buy the company went through a sale process, and anybody could have came. Shit, you could have came and said, if you want a Slutty Vegan, you could have bought it. But there were some people that were that expressed interest, and then also I put a bid in for my business, and 43 days later I won the bid, and that's how I bought my company back under the name Ain't Nobody Coming to See You, Otis. Okay.
Oh, so you trolling yourself, but also...
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. Like I built this and watch me do it again. Yeah. Okay. So when I bought the company back, I'm like, all right, Pinky, you got to get strategic. The brand is bigger than the business. Okay. The estate had closed some stores because when the estate come in, they don't care. They're not emotionally
They're not
tied.
loyal to nothing.
They're not loyal to nothing. So remember when Spellman closed and they like Pinky Cole closed Spellman? I didn't even own the company then.
Yeah.
Right? They closed Spellman, and I was making, what, $400,000 a year in Spellman, right? And I mean, to them, that might have been a lot, but that wasn't even,
It wasn't justifiable to stay in business.
It was not justifiable to stay in business, right?
I think, go ahead.
So let me wrap this in a bow. So anyway, so they started closing stores that I probably would have kept open, that were doing well for a startup founder. It was incredible. To us, it was kind of low, but it was still up there in the millions, right? So they closed the stores. I didn't own the company. But then when I bought the company back, I went into strategy mode. Like, I need to do this a different way.
Yeah. What's intriguing about this is when I first came to know of Slutty Vegan, my first Slutty Vegan experience is like, your brother, it was a family member. It was something.
My brother who make the sauce.
And here we go. I remember going into the actual, the restaurant, and here he comes in with the tub. And I'm like, bro, what is that? Is that grease or something? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking about the fries. He's like, no, bro, this the sauce. I'm like, the sauce? He's like, no, the sauce. I'm like, well, this a restaurant. And I'm looking at the people in line, and I'm looking at this bucket, and I'm like, the employees don't know the sauce? It's like, it's really secret sauce. And then fast forward, I see that sauce now in it was in like the little refillable tube. You know what I'm saying? Like you just get the little cap, boom, pour your little sauce in there, and then boom, that's how you was giving it. The next time that I kind of experienced Slutty Vegan, it was like that sauce was in packets.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well now, they had to tell somebody about the sauce. I guess my question looms is, what do you attest this to as far as bad moves in business? Was it not structuring or mismanagement of money? Or was it just scaling too fast?
It wasn't mismanagement of money, right? So I'm not going, the person that I had running the company, he did a good job, right? For the most part, he did a good job. What I will say is that he never scaled a restaurant, and neither did I. Okay, so the business, the people who are at the helm of the business, we were all very ambitious. So scaling too fast is relative, okay? When you're scaling a business like mine, they tell you like, all right, now you got the money, you need to make the money work for you.
You hot.
Like,
yeah.
We made the money work, but we were too ambitious with making the money work. Now, you have to understand, the economy is changing in real time, okay? Like, supply chain is through the roof. So what would take 6 weeks is taking 16 weeks. What would cost $600 now is costing $900,000. So there was a premium on everything. And before you look up, that money will disappear. People think millions can go fast when you're really spending money on stuff and making stuff work, and you're scaling a business, especially a business that's as popular as mine, right?
But I want to educate people with this, because you've dropped so many innuendos of business practice from making money to 600,000 to 900,000. Ladies and gentlemen, we must understand that those are business expenses. That's not necessarily in her pocket.
No.
There's a difference between owning to own and owning to control.
Yes.
Once you know that the money that you're making, the control is, I have salary, I have certain business functionalities that needs to be paid, lights, utilities. What does it cost for French fries? What does it cost for Beyond Meat, Impossible Meat, Daring Chicken? What does it cost for soy?
Legal fees.
It's a lot of things.
Legal fees, trademarks, all of the things.
Yeah.
When you are doing a startup company, there's so many things that you don't even realize that you need, right? And a lot of this, remember, for a good portion of the company, I wasn't running it. The bulk of everything that happened, I wasn't running my company, right? I was doing my interviews, doing all of the things, doing the marketing, the brand partnerships, all the things that I do extremely well. So was there mismanagement? Nobody was going shopping with the money, right? Everything went into Slutty Vegan. I believe that my leadership was just way too ambitious. And ambitious for good reason, right? But we had things that we didn't need, right? Like we were operating like a tech company. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. But we were growing a restaurant business. Yeah. So all of the bells and whistles, so like even in 2.0, when I bought my company back, I already had the infrastructure because we already paid for it. We did so much of the stuff. Mm-hmm. But now this time, I lose the cap table and I lose the debt. So now here it is, coming into 2.0 after buying the company back, okay, I'm thinking like everything is scot-free. Guess what happened? Lawsuits left and right coming after me personally from the corporation. So in my mind, I'm like, well, why are they coming after me? This was a part of Slutty Vegan. The SBA EIDL loan, that was not my personal loan. That went into the business, but it had my name on it. So now they're coming after me. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Right. All of the big lawsuits had my name on it. Now they're coming after me. So they're coming after me personally. And I didn't know when I'm growing the company, I'm not thinking that the company is going to tank like how it tanked, right? So I'm signing personal guarantees, signing my name because never in a million years is Slutty Vegan going to go through some turmoil, right? So I had no choice but to file for bankruptcy, right? Because here it is, I'm being held liable for a company that no longer exists. Yeah. And the creditors want their money, so they're coming after me. Mm-hmm. And that's how we got here. Mm-hmm. So when you hear the narrative like, oh, she broke, people don't got no money, you can walk half a mile in my shoes. You understand what I'm saying?
Or your heels.
Or my heels, okay? I'm telling you, it's levels to this broke because I have seen so much in business and I've learned along the way. The one thing, I told you one thing that I would do differently is I would make sure that I wouldn't take my eyes off the wheel. The second thing, for anybody who is an entrepreneur, you gotta have the right financial advisors around you. Mm. You gotta have, if you're gonna get investors, right, make sure that when you get those investors, they're gonna ride with you when it's up and ride with you when it's down. You understand what I'm saying? And I think there came a time where the vegan market got a little volatile. You're vegan, right?
Yes.
Okay, which one?
Veganese.
Okay, veganese, close. All right.
The cheese ain't right. And I partake in eggs.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'm vegetarian.
Okay, you're vegetarian. So you saw what happened with the vegan market. And I think what happened is my investors, in the midst of all of this, I think they got a little scared because they didn't know the future of veganism.
Now, press pause. Now, to educate people in regards of the vegan market, when you see brands like Impossible, when you see brands like Daring, when you see brands like Beyond Meat, when you see any type of plant-based type of meat replacement, it took a hit.
A big hit.
Like a lot of times, like
if you're paying attention, that's the same time that we also took the hit.
For sure.
Yes.
So everything around plant-based, the plant-based industry took a hit.
Yeah. So here you have these LPs and these money guys, they following trends, right? They don't care about the vision and the dream. They following the trend. Like, all right, Beyond Meat is suffering. Impossible going through their changes. Everybody going through their changes. Why should we put more money in this? I mean, I'm just assuming that that's probably what, they didn't say that, but I'm assuming
it's
that's what
definitely how they did, because the market shifts.
The market shifted. But the good thing is the market is now shifting back, right? You have to understand, everything tanked at once. All the biggest vegan brands closed. Kevin Hart brand closed. Planta closed a whole bunch of locations. All the big vegan ones that were very respected at the top of the food chain, I'm one of the only ones left.
Yes.
I'm one of the only ones left, and I'm still swinging, and we're still doing well. Yes, we have the same challenges that other businesses have, but here it is 8 years later, and I'm still in business in totality. You understand what I'm saying? So now it's critical to have investors who see the big picture, okay, and can offer the level of resources that's going to take your business to the next level. When I tell you that's the most expensive school that I ever went to in my life, but I'm so glad that I went through it early because Slutty Vegan is a $1 billion brand, okay? But I needed to make the $1 billion mistakes early on so I ain't making it when my revenue is hitting $100 million a year and these mistakes are coming in when it's too late. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so right now I am in a much better place.
Cause I gotta go there.
It got dark.
I feel like
it got dark.
Mentally, for a person to be a beacon of hope with like, yo, like you're a double minority. You're a Black woman and you're thriving in a way that we're not used to seeing at the scale that you did it. And it almost happened fast. It was like, this the same chick that had the food truck, and then the food truck morphed into a brick and mortar, then the brick and mortar got multiple brick and mortars. It's just like, it's everywhere. Your face card was undeniable. Because let's just call respect how it is. You're thriving as a woman in this phase where sex sells. Skin sales, but you're doing it in a business-like atmosphere that, like, I think it's crazy to admit, but it's like, yo, like you were revolutionizing how we saw Black women without it being not to kind of shun a commodity, but it's just like hair, cosmetics. It's like, yo, she's doing it with food, vegan food, plant-based food at that. So. What about this situation? How much did it impact your health as a whole?
Oh, tremendously. It impacted my health. It impacted my marriage a lot. I almost lost my mind because of everything that you just said. Like, here it is. Everything that I've ever touched turned to gold. I'm an overachiever. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do good at it. Like, I'm a winner. I'm a natural born winner. It don't have nothing to do with money. I just like to win. I like to build. I like to create. Like, I'm the winner. I don't care if it's 1,000 people in the room. I win. Like, that's just always been my energy. That's always been my mentality. Like, it's almost like I'm an athlete. I mean, you know.
No, you got that mentality.
Yeah, I have an athlete mentality. Like, I'm going to be better than everybody here, right? That's always been my mindset. Not in an arrogant way, but I just believe in myself that much that I am the best. Yeah. So when the things around me started to change that narrative, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not used to this, to be honest. But it really was ego. When I look back at all of it, it really was all ego because I'm the best with all of those things. Okay, I could be flat broke and my mouthpiece is still a country club. I'm the best, right? But I didn't need to have the millions behind my business to acknowledge that, right? So when I was going through trying to raise funding, I'm talking about like, I'm picking up the phone, trying to raise money, trying to do all of these things, and everybody at the time is strapped. Okay, there was a period where ain't nobody liquid, nobody trying to give up money, and I'm trying to hold on to my little coins in my household. We got 5 kids. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? And Derek is still growing his company. You know, he wants to help me out, but I'm like, hey, we both can't be down.
But that's where my question lies, and I was going to get there, but now here we are. What people don't know is that your husband also would, in essence, be a competitor. In your field. But like when you say power couple, I think people were more pleased and like shocked. Like, this is one of the most thriving Philly cheesesteak restaurant owners, and Derek Hayes. I had the opportunity to speak with him before on Funky Friday, and just to hear how his brain work in business just off of something as simple, well, not simple, as chopped cheese and doggone Phillies. And that's your husband. But I think what I'm hearing is it's a lot of, and I may be wrong, like you took this on your doty, so to speak, when it's like, what's the point of being married if you can confide or have some type of resources to come in from your other half? How was that?
You know, it's funny because I don't know if you watched the show, but I'm sure you've seen highlight clips.
I saw it.
Right. So there's this narrative like, why aren't you trusting in your husband? Let me tell you something. When I met my husband, he had lines down the block. When my husband met Pinky, she had lines down the block, okay? So we both separately and together had thriving businesses. Yeah. What attracted us to each other were that we were bosses and still are bosses, right? So he had his own thing going on. I had my own thing going on. What happened with me before Derek is I got the lick before he did, okay? I got the big dollars. So I was able to scale faster than him because I got $25 million to scale while he was still chopping cheese, but still had the popular brand in the neighborhood where everybody was talking about him. So for a very long time, I was at the helm just financially with the business because I got $25 million to grow, right? So it took him a little bit longer, but when I reached my peak in business and then I started having problems, he started to have his peak, okay? So then he raised money, and people don't know this, but we actually have the same investor.
Wow.
People don't know that. Yeah. So we have the same investor.
That's like a conflict of interest, no?
You call it what you want. But he started growing in business, and my business started falling apart, and here it is. I'm like, okay, all right, we need to figure it out. So like, you got to understand, you in a relationship.
Yes, ma'am. I'm
coming home and I'm sad. And I'm not a dark person, right? Like, I'm always optimistic. My energy is just on 10. If you're around me, I'm gonna make you feel better. I'm gonna make you think bigger than life. Okay, so I'm coming home dark and just sad all the time. He don't recognize me no more. Let's be honest. He looking at me like, I don't even know who this is. Like, here it is, I'm getting all of these deals, I'm winning, all of these great things are happening for me. And then I turn around and look at my wife who had all of these things, and now all of a sudden she's figuring it out in her professional career. Like, it was a new person that we got to meet each other on a different level, and neither one of us liked it. You understand what I'm saying? So when I didn't tell him about the bankruptcy, it wasn't because I didn't want to share that information with him. That ain't how he met me. I was a boss on my own, right? Like, I just wanted to be able to solve my own problems because he didn't get me here, and I don't need you to get me out of here, because guess what? Just like I'm grinding trying to grow this $1 billion business, he over here stressing and grinding trying to grow his $1 billion business. Why am I going to put my stress on his $1 billion mission?
Can I ask you a question?
He can't handle his stress and mine. I just didn't want to do that.
Yeah. I think when you talk about the clip that I saw, my question, why was he the last person? It felt like he was the last person to kind of...
He wasn't.
That's just... Okay.
He wasn't he was the last person to know about the bankruptcy, because to be honest, at the time I was a little embarrassed, to be honest. That's fair. He knew about the financial problems. I mean, like, he's not slow. We live together. We lay next to each other, okay? Like, I'm inside his skin. He knew about the problems and what was happening. But my decision to file bankruptcy, we briefly talked about it early on, and he was like, no, you're not filing bankruptcy.
This is on camera or off camera?
This was off camera.
Okay.
Like, we briefly in the past, I'm like, the conversation that I told you when my colleague said, like, hey, we might have to file for bankruptcy. So at that time, I knew that he wasn't for the bankruptcy. He like, no, you're not doing that. Like, we got too much great things going on. Yeah. And I'm like, you're right, I'm not doing that. So when you see the clip is me kind of coming to him and saying like, yeah, I think I'm going to do this, right? But it wasn't like, I'm keeping this from my husband, I don't want him to know.
Because his response was like...
Because he my rider. His response is like, no, like, you're not going to file, I'm going to give you the money. But that's not smart for him to give me money to file for bankruptcy when we need to hold on to the liquid. Yeah. We need to hold on to what it is that we have. And I'm not even responsible for this anymore because it's in the hands of the estate. Yes. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And let me break it down for the people who don't understand what that meant. The minute that my company went through the restructure, I didn't own anything from that old company. I didn't own assets, or I didn't own the debt until I became the personal guarantor for the debt and they started coming after me. So the easiest thing for me to do was to file a Chapter 11 so that I can start over and make sure that 2.0 is positioned to where it needed to be.
But this also needs to be said too, for people who don't understand this specific business situation. If her husband were to give her money, it would be almost burning it, as if to say, like, because if you owe certain things, you want to keep what's yours for you to live your life. That's not to say that you own yachts or Rolls Royces or going on splurges. It's to say that how can we strategically come up with a plan to pay back strategically rather than giving off of the things that we need to operate our life in, because that's not going to be something that will be beneficial.
You hit the tail on a donkey. It's all about strategy.
Yeah.
So filing for bankruptcy is an opportunity to get these creditors off of my back for something that happened under a corporation with other partners. So at first I'm like, well, why am I the only one liable? Well, Pinky, because you signed as a personal guarantor.
Yeah.
So the process that I'm in right now is that bankruptcy personally. Personally, I don't have much. Okay, I'm broke personally.
You and me both.
Okay, like I ain't got much personally, and I'm fine with that. That's okay. That's how it should be, right? But these creditors were attacking me. So it was the best thing to do. It was the right thing to do. I'm happy that I did it. If I could go back, I would do it all again. But let me tell you the beautiful thing about it. Slutty Vegan is thriving. I'm signing franchises, okay? Even through all of the dust and all of the smoke and all of the negativity, I get 7 franchise requests every single day. That's a lot with no marketing. 7 franchise requests every single day for people who want to buy into my brand. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal. So that tells me that my brand is weatherproof, okay? All I need now is the operators to run my brand. So to my earlier point, when I said being put on display, here it is now. I'm on a national TV show, okay? And my whole storyline is everything that happened in my business. But do you know how many people message me every single day, Cam, saying, can you give me a bankruptcy attorney? I'm so glad that you did this. You're inspiring me. I'm doing something that people are afraid to do. I'm being brave. You know why? Because I'm so self-aware and sure of who I am.
Yeah.
I know that the level of 44X that's about to take place in my business, eyes have not seen. Eyes have not seen. So what you saw before, I don't know if you pay attention, it's happening right now in front of your face. When you go on Instagram, do you see me? It's happening right now, all over again. But this time, it's 44X. There's a pattern that happens in life, okay? Lost the business before, got it back times 10, lost the business again, about to get it back times 20. And the pattern will continue to increase. Now, I pray that I don't lose anything again, but that's the nature of life. You're gonna lose shit in life. Yeah. But when you lose shit, you really get to learn shit. Yes. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, I've learned so much in business by losing stuff. And the people who have an opinion and want to put their mouth on my business, you can last a day as an entrepreneur. You can last a day as a CEO. So I let people create their think pieces and all this stuff. But let me tell you something, Cam, I'm a genius. Yeah, you are. I am a genius. I know that for a fact. I
want people to understand it's like you exude this confidence that... It's almost like the Kanye West syndrome. You know what I'm saying?
I've heard that before.
Like Kanye, no matter what you want to say about him, I don't know any other way to put it, but he finds ways to remind us all of how resilient and how creative he is. When I see Pinky, it's the same thing. I want to go back to something real quick, because that competitiveness can be your gift and it also could be a curse. When I ask this question, are you in competition with your husband?
Yes.
Is that healthy?
And he's in competition with me? Yes.
It's healthy?
It keeps us on our toes. It's not called competition, it's called camaraderie. Okay. Because when I see him growing, I get excited. I'm like, I need to get on my stuff. Yeah. Okay? Don't when your lady growing, you like, yeah, I need to stay up on it. Yeah. And when he see me growing, he like, I need to get up on my stuff. Yeah. When I see him working out, I'm like, shit, I need to get up and start working out. Yeah. When he see me eating healthy, he like, damn, I need to go eat a salad. That's the kind of relationship that we have. You understand what I'm saying? When he looking at his sales, these my sales for the week. And I'm like, hey, my sales for the week. But that's how we grew our relationship. And yes, it keeps us on our toes in our relationship. And at the end of the day, when you talk about the household, we are Hayes Hospitality, okay? The beneficiaries of our businesses is our offspring, okay? They are going to benefit from the hard work and the level of competitiveness and excellence that we've put in. You understand what I'm saying? Derek is my comp. Whenever I'm feeling low, I'm looking to the left and I'm looking at my comp. Whenever I feel like, okay, what's trending in the market? I'm looking at my comp. I got the cheat code, okay? not many people can say that they have the cheat code in relationships, and we have it. So I'm glad our dynamic is the way that it is. I'm glad that we both have very successful businesses. And I'm even more proud now because my husband has waited patiently while I had my longest run, and now he's having his run. So guess what? I'm supporting him on his run. Yeah. Okay? He just made the cover of the biggest restaurant trade magazine in the country. Okay? He's up to 35 franchisees. Okay? He's closing on a multi-million-dollar investment deal right now. Like, we're good. Yeah. Even when I fall, we still good. Yeah. So that's the benefit of our relationship, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
I don't want to be intrusive.
Go ahead.
I'm asking because I think it's imperative for people to understand and know. Mm-hmm. Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Did you sign a prenuptial agreement?
No.
Did he sign a prenuptial agreement?
No, we have no prenup.
So y'all locked in?
We locked in like skin. I'm going to tell you why. Right before we got married, I looked at him, and he looked at me. I said, listen, if this don't work out, we're going to go our separate ways with what we came with. And that's why I married him. He has my mind, right? One thing about me is I ain't begging, borrowing, or stealing from nobody. Like, I don't play with people like that. So if it don't work out, I don't want nothing from you. You got to watch me get it all over again. And you're going to be sitting back like, damn, this girl is a monster. And vice versa. That's the kind of energy that he has. So no, we don't have a prenup. And he's stuck like Chuck, and so am I. So we ain't going nowhere.
I think it's wowing to see, because I witnessed from afar this dynamic come into place. And it made sense, well, in this sense, it made dollars for so many reasons where it's like, yo, this is a real power couple here. And when people that are on this trend of love, but there's something that can kind of wedge between that. And it is this dynamic where there's good points on one side that says like, no, sign a prenup, and then there's other points on the other side. It's like, no, we're not going to do it. So either way, whether you did it or not, I wanted people to understand that you can go along and be the best version of yourself together as well as independent.
You know what I think it is? His plan was never to live off me, and my plan was to never live off him. Wow. And that's why it works. And it might not work for somebody else, right? But every marriage is different. And my marriage is just like, I don't want your money. I'm happy to have it because I know it's mine. But like, I want to say that I've achieved my wildest dreams on my own. I don't want to live off nobody else. And call me independent, call me what you want. But he also don't want to live off me. He want to have his own. He wants to realize his father's dream.
Yeah, I want to mention something, because I think it's not a culture thing. It's a people thing. Mm-hmm. And people have a way to build you up to tear you down.
Of course.
When you went through the turmoil, the mud, so to speak, the allegations and the situations, did the backlash from others that celebrated your downfall, how was that when you received it?
You know, that part is just like, okay. But what I did do is I got me a list, okay, of all of the people that didn't answer the phone, all the people that didn't turn their back on me, and that list is a front row seat to the greatness. Now they gotta watch it, okay, because you're gonna watch me. People don't know, like, and I'm sure you like this. Anybody that ever doubted me put a battery in my back.
No, for sure.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you put a fucking battery in my back.
You're going to pay for that.
What? You're going to pay for it. And I'm going to turn up so crazy just so that I can watch you pay for it. Yeah. But not even because I need to prove something to you. But you gave me so much ammunition to keep going because there's somebody in the world who's a naysayer. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? But then you got to get a front row seat to the greatness.
No, for sure.
Okay? I'm giving you VIP passes to the greatness.
All access.
All access. Okay? Like, I'm taking pictures with you like Chris Brown.
Come on.
You feel me? Like, and that has always, that's always been my mentality. You feel me? So like, here it is now. I know, like, I'm a visionary. I know where my life is about to go. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I know, I feel it, I see it, I could taste it. I pray about it every single day. God wouldn't strip me down like that for nothing, okay? You wouldn't strip me all the way down to the goddamn bones for nothing. I'm too great of an individual. I'm too great of a thought leader for you to strip me down like that. So now every single room that I go in, I say, God, if you ever get me through this, I'm gonna say your name in every interview, at every conference, and every stage that I'm in. Because everything that I've went through in my life only brought me closer to God, okay? God was always walking with me. I was not always walking with God.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So now, God is my homeboy. When I wake up in the morning, all right, what we gonna do? Every time I'm in a crunch, God, get me out the pickle. Every single time. So when people say God ain't real, I know you lying, okay? Because I've witnessed it firsthand. But it took for me to go through what I went through to literally understand that. And now where God has taken me on this level of rocket shift, I'm telling you, we out of here already. I already see it.
Now, going through what you've been through, let's flip it real quick, because you've had your fair share of turmoil. Do you think that same level of turmoil would have happened if you was a man?
No.
Explain.
You know what I think happened with me? I had too many wins. By society's standard, you can't have too many wins. Okay? Somebody is going to want to see your downfall. She's winning too much. What's going on? She's winning too much.
Right.
Yeah, like just pull her off the rug real quick. You understand what I'm saying? And I think when you think about women, especially Black women who run companies, okay, we've had a really beautiful run that's still running with amazing women who have grown and scaled companies, okay? People don't like that. You know what I'm saying? People don't like that because we're not supposed to be at the helm. What? You're supposed to be historically.
You're supposed to be behind him.
You're supposed to be behind him. Yeah. You're not supposed to be the leader. You're too strong. Your voice is too powerful. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So now, when you see what happened to me, you've never seen it before, especially not with us, right? Like this with what's happening with me. And I believe that possibly if it was a man, maybe it would have just been a slap on the wrist. Okay, we still believe in you, brother. Keep going. Now, I don't know that to be true, but I'm also not a victim, right? And at the end of the day, my situation is very isolated. And I think that I have cemented a piece of history that people are going to be reading about, because this is going to be one of the greatest case studies of our generation, because what I'm doing right now in my business is franchising, and I'm building my infrastructure all over again and I done went through some bad apples, okay? So after I bought the company back, okay, I hired some people, they didn't work out, right? Like still just going through the changes of business. But this next season and this next level is going to explain why every single thing happened before. Yeah. You understand?
No, for sure. Because I'll be the first to acknowledge, if nobody wants to state the obvious, we are in a very male, masculine, world of business.
Of course.
And it's crazy because I'm a show guy. I'm looking at the show now, an older show, but it has so much merit and relatability to this world that we live in today, Mad Men. And, it's about an ad agency in, I believe it was the 60s or something like that. And it just shows just how women were treated and what the expectation was from the man and from the woman. And as I see it, I always have to be mindful of my tongue and how it can weaponize or bring joy to others. It does my heart joy being that the producer of this show is a Black woman, John A. Jackson. Talent relations of this show is Alatra. A person that makes me look better than I think I am is Jessica Shelley. And being along with these people, not as I'm superior, they're under me. It's like, yo, they hold me accountable. And understanding I'm with you. I need to stand on the table to say like, yo, like women, I don't know a lot of, relationships with other races or whatever, but Black women, I came from a Black woman. And I want to always speak of the greatness of that for the things that you guys have endured, because it is tough. It is hard. I know I have fell short of speaking that greatness to that. And I apologize, even just the sheer thought of you guys taking another step back of what another man has said. Because it is tough. When you go into these boardrooms, when you try to go find capital and you look at men, look at you, and it's just like, okay, where he at? Who's your representation?
Yep.
Because like I can see you, I've never been in a boardroom with you, but I can see your experience almost like every episode of Shark Tank. Pleading, like, man, listen, this is what we got going on, blah, blah, blah. You can talk the talk and you can walk the walk, but something in the back of their mind is just like, but she black though.
Which is why when men fail at business or they lose business, they can start a whole nother business and get funding for that business so easy. It happens all the time. All the time. Black women, we got to fight a little harder.
Yeah. But there was something that you said about the shared investor with you and your husband, where he was getting money from the same person that was in some ways like giving you funding too. And when that funding kind of decimated, now you're in a situation where it's like, okay, how did that feel? Because it's awkward.
It was awkward.
It's like, who you say you're talking to? John Doe. John Doe ain't return my phone call.
It's funny that you said that. You hit it on the nose. It was awkward. But I got love for, he's no longer my investor now, but I got love for, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was a hard pill to swallow, but at the end of the day, it's just business.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest lesson that I learned. Yeah. It is just business. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I walked into this emotionally because this was an emotional investment.
Wow.
I cried. When I got that $25 million in my bank account, I cried. And people was like, Pinky, you should be happy. Why you? I cried because I'm like, I no longer own 100% of my company no more. I was thinking about that. I'm like, it's not me no more. I was being selfish. I cried because I emotionally built this business for the people.
It's your baby.
It's my baby, right? And I've learned that when you build businesses, you have to have a level of detachment because you have to have like an end goal. What's your end goal? My end goal is to sell my company. When I get to a certain X, I want to sell and use those proceeds to put into my philanthropic efforts and go start my next company. And then I'm going to build that company up, scale it, and go sell my next company. And then the money I'm going to do, and I'm going to sell it till I get to a B. If Slutty Vegan don't make me a B, the businesses that come after that will make me a B. And somebody is going to continue to grow Slutty Vegan and do what it is that I could have never done and take it to the next level. And I'm going to still have equity in that business because you never take all your equity out of your business. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm with you. There was, you've gotten a lot of support from different people, but this support came from Fawn Weaver, the CEO of Uncle Nearest, during this season. She's going through a tough time in business as well, but what did that mean to you coming from another black woman in entrepreneurship?
That's my girl, hands down. I don't care what nobody say. That's my girl. She always check on me, and I check on her. And she's always there for me if I need an ear. And that is the beauty about black women who stick together, okay? And there's a core amount of them. You got Fawn Weaver. You got, I don't know if you know who Kim Blackwell is. Kim Blackwell, you gotta look at her. She's the GOAT. Dora Whitley, my manager. Stacy Lee, my other manager. I got some really core folks. Jotika Edie, like, I got some people that I can call and they're gonna ride out for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people don't know that. So like I'm grateful that I have an ecosystem of people that I can pick up the phone and say, hey, like this is what I'm going through, and then they can give me real advice in real time. But shout out to Fawn. You know, like Fawn and I have taken some hits. Some very public hits. And her situation is a bit similar to mine. Here it is she, to me, is one of the most powerful black women in the country. Wow. Okay? And she's taking a hit. So the same applause that she got, then she got the boos. The same thing that happened to me. And I said, damn, what is happening with black women? But one thing about us is we're resilient because even despite all of that, she still show up. She still got a smile on her face. I still show up. I still got a smile on my face. And that just tells you how magical we are as women.
I was going somewhere with even that type of support because I always had this conversation with my lady and asking it straight out, like, do women really support women?
Yes, absolutely, we do. Because
I see these type of situations, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sister. And then you also see a situation where she ain't got it all like that, like boom, like.
That's a different kind of woman.
Not the
It's levels to this.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A woman who is self-aware and confident in who she is, who has also built her own empire and has no need to want to take away anything from somebody else, and is in the spirit of giving and uplifting. Those are the kind of women that I like to be around, because those women don't want to take anything from me. If anything, they want to pour into me and provide me resources and give me good relationships and give me good advice. And they don't need to compete with me because they're already dominating their own lane.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Those are the kind of women that I like to be around. Now, there's different buckets of women, just like there are different buckets of men. Yeah. But I choose to be around those specific women because those are the women that allow me to continue to grow in my field because I get something from them.
Let me ask you this. Like, what was the reasoning behind going on Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Well, if I tell you, I got to kill you.
Next question. All right. But I'll
tell you this. I'm very intentional in everything.
This is the reasoning. Like, what was the intentions behind it?
You'll find out one day.
Okay.
But my decision for going on the show, I'm actually happy that I did it. And a lot of people say, well, Pinky, why would you do that? And I said, well, here it is. My company went through a restructure. Everybody talking about me anyway. I might as well show you it on a reality show. Yeah. So now you can dissect my whole life if you want to. But now you're invested. And if I have you invested, that means I have your attention. And when I have your attention, I can sell you anything, if we're being honest, right? But my storyline is real, right? So I didn't have to forge anything together. I didn't have to make anything up. Like when them cameras was rolling, that was really happening at that time. Yeah. Me crying about bankruptcy, me telling Derek about bankruptcy, me trying to figure it out. And, you know, people may say, well, all she do is talk about business. That's who I am, right? Like, this is who I am.
But you're not a housewife.
Yeah, and I'm not a housewife. I'm a businesswoman that so happens to be on Housewives of Atlanta. And I don't stay at home and just cook for my husband and my kids. I get up and go to work and we get help. We pay for help, okay? We pay for people to help support our household to make sure that we, you know, have what we need to have, especially for our children.
How do you feel about the depiction that's always kind of shown specifically to that franchise of Atlanta?
I feel like I'm changing it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a
depiction, but
like Potomac, Beverly Hills.
So let me tell you this. When you watch these TV shows, most people watch for a reason, okay? They want to see somebody else's life falling apart because, you know, it just makes them feel better about their own. That's just the truth, right? And when you sign up for these shows, this is what you have. RHOA is an incredible franchise, okay? I believe me coming on the show adds a different flair to the show. I'm different than them. I ain't nothing like them. I don't walk like them. I don't talk like them. I don't think like them. I damn sure don't look like them, okay? Like, I'm non-GMO, okay? Like, I'm literally, everything about me is on a different frequency. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, and that is what the show needs. Okay, everybody don't need to be the same. Yep. And yeah, we have our little bickering, go back and forth, but like, each one of these women has something different to offer, but my eclecticness, right? And
eclecticness. Yes, Lord. There you go.
I didn't say in. You said in.
It sounded like you said eclecticness.
I said eclectic.
Troy, am I tripping? You heard the end, didn't you?
Okay.
No, we heard the end.
No, you did. Put that on the little column. Okay. So listen, shout out to Lady Lundy. But I'm just different, and being different is what sets me apart. I'm not trying to be like nobody else. There are going to be people that love me. There are going to be people that don't like me, and that's okay with me.
Is it real, though?
It's real.
So y'all not bickering, y'all disagreements.
It's not fake. It's real.
So when you hear Phaedra say dirty tennis ball comments, that's like a real...
Am I a cute, dirty tennis ball?
I can't, respectfully...
You can say that.
Derek, you did your big one, brother.
Well, listen, she called me a dirty tennis ball, but guess what? I'm the motherfucking Grand Slam. Hello?
What I do?
That might have went over somebody's head, but...
Head, dress, ball heads, toupee, sew-ins, headbands, it don't matter. The real one's caught it. I look at it through a lens where I don't partake in that type of content, right? Because of obvious reasons. I just don't like sometimes how the black woman is
Me neither. Before I got on, I didn't either.
Okay.
But now that I'm on it, I pray that my storyline and how I show up is just a different understanding of the Black woman. People think that the Black woman who is successful has to look the same exact way, has to act the same exact way. No, you don't. My stance on the show is, for the most part, I come in love. Yeah. Okay? Like, I come with a positive energy. You see, like, there was a scene on the show where, like, the girls started arguing in my store, and I shut it down. And people got mad that I shut it down. But in my real life, I would shut some bullshit down because I don't operate in that space, right? Like, my energy can't take on negative energy. I don't even like beefing with people. I can't sleep at night. I don't like it. Yeah. Like, I'm just that kind of person. Like, I want to win in life. I want to win in business. I want to win in family. I ain't got time to be arguing with you.
The last thing on this specific topic, do you have real relationships or real friendships from that cast?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. There are a couple women that I've met on the cast that I really, really like. I really like Cynthia. Like, she is who you see. Like, she is an incredible human being. She's always checked on me. Like, my brother-in-law, he's been in a hospital since December 28th and had a stroke. And I'm gonna give you a message about that. He had a stroke. And, you know, we had conversations about pulling the plug or not, because people didn't know if he was gonna make it. You understand what I'm saying? And here it is. He's been in the hospital since December, and he just started walking again. His eyes are open. He's now using a bathroom on his own. He's eating on his own. He ain't got no bag no more. You understand what I'm saying? So when I see the goodness of God and how God has given him his motion back, and the people around me on that show that have reached out to me when I was going through the hardest time in my life with my husband, that to me, I'm like, all right, you're a real one. Yeah. This is more than just a show. So shout out to Cynthia. She's incredible. Kay is my girl. That's my sister. And, you know, that's my sorority sister. But we connected in a whole nother way by just doing this journey together. And I can't even describe it. We just instantly connected. We ain't nothing like each other, but it just works. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
That Wi-Fi connected instantly. The
Wi-Fi connected. Yeah. She's a real one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kelly is a real one. Shami is a real one. Like, despite the BS, like after the show, like, I've got to build with some of these women, and they're really good people, which is why they're on a show like this. There's something about them that's special. Even the ones that I didn't name, there is something about these women that somebody saw something in them. They have that je ne sais quoi about them that people like. Yeah. Okay. But it was definitely an experience, and I'm so happy that I did it, especially with everything that I've gone through. So when people talk about the bankruptcy and they talk about everything I'm going through, I'm like, just watch. Yeah. Put your seatbelt on.
And just to confirm, how long have you been vegan?
I stopped eating meat in 2007. Okay. I got food poisoning. I had a chicken sandwich. So from 2007 up until 2013, I was eating cheese here and there. And then I completely stopped in 2013. Yeah. And I haven't eaten meat since then. No gravy, no nothing.
Like, for me, I just haven't felt like the technology has came around for the cheese supplement.
Cheese is the best thing.
Nah, it don't melt.
Wait, you're eating the wrong cheese.
Not my experience.
You got to try Violife. You got to try, there's a whole bunch of them. Yeah. I'll send you a list. There's a bunch of cheese.
But then there hasn't been a supplement for me that, like, eggs. Like, I love eggs.
Do you?
Like,
just
Waffle
egg
House?
Is good.
Waffle House?
You know, they should do a vegan Waffle House. I'll be there every day. A vegan Waffle House, sign me up. Okay?
Man,
I will be there every goddamn day.
It's crazy. We were talking about off camera your relationship with fasting, and how has that kind of morphed into your everyday life?
I'm a master faster. You ever heard of that?
No.
So all of my life, I've taken enjoyment in fasting. So, like, I've done OMAD before. That's 1 meal a day. I've done intermittent fasting. I got a raw vegan page. Every year at the beginning of the year, I go raw vegan for the longest, where I just eat raw fruits and vegetables. For 8 months after I had my last child, I went completely raw vegan. And I'm 38, but when I turn 40, I'm going to be fully raw vegan for the rest of my life. That's kind of like my life goal. Really? Yeah, I believe that's just the closest to God.
But explain, like, the rawness.
Raw vegan is
not cooking?
Not raw fruits and vegetables, no cooked food.
Okay.
Raw
Well,
fruits
how
and
do you
vegetables.
get lentils? You can't eat lentils either?
You can eat sprouted lentils.
Like
you
Brussels sprouts?
No, sprouted. So it's like you put it in water, sprout it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I always fast because fasting is not about the physical as much as it is about the mental.
No, and
Okay?
that's what like.
And people don't understand that.
They
So
don't.
when
They
when
don't.
I'm like, I'm going on a fast or I'm going on a water fast for 3 days, and they're like,
Yeah.
well, why are you doing that? It's about the mind.
Yeah.
You're training the mind muscle, right? And one thing about me is when I put my mind to something, I'm going to do it. So I'm in the competition with myself.
No.
Okay? So when I go on a fast, I want to see if I can do something that I'm afraid to do for myself. And when I do that, I feel so much, I feel like a warrior.
Yeah.
I feel so much stronger. I feel like I can run through a fucking brick wall. You feel me? Like, so that level of fasting is because I literally can reprogram and retrain my mind. I believe that if God didn't give me nothing else, he gave me a sharp mind.
Yeah.
And that mind, you got to be able to train that mind. And you train that mind by way of fasting.
Yeah, well, for me, it's similar. You know, I'm looking at Shells as we had this conversation because he always asks, like, why? What's the purpose of you fasting? And it's to train the mind. It's to put myself in a position where I'm always looking for an edge in life. And while I was an athlete, I said it before, but I'll share this. The thing that I loved about being an athlete, specifically a football player, was I wanted that person that had all that to say in the first quarter, keep that same energy.
Keep that same.
Because I'm telling you.
Same. When is your birthday, Cam?
Every day.
When's your birthday? Is it December?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's May 11th.
Oh, well, you better have a birthday. Look, come on, May. My husband is May
Yours
8th.
is?
Derek
No,
is
no,
May-
we said that. That's what we found out. We was doing the show. He was like, yeah, he's a Taurus.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things like when you look into a soul of a person during discomfort, that's where I see it.
Yeah.
And I train my sons because of that. It's like, son, don't tell me what you like when in the first quarter y'all running out the tunnel. Tell me what it's like when you got a bump or you got a bruise. When your mind tell you like, nah, bro, it just stop right now. Like fasting gives me that extra boost to say, I know that person ain't went to where I went to gain my strength.
Yep.
And if my father, Cecil Newton, never instilled in me anything, it was that mentality. I would always hear him say, son, you gotta be a man. I tell my son that to this day. Like, bro, you gotta be a man, dog. And it didn't make sense. It didn't click in that moment or those moments when he said it. But going through bankruptcy, going through discomfort, going through uncertainty of like when we're gonna get our next opportunity, putting people before you. People hear the word or the term boss. Boss to me is I'm the biggest servant.
Yes.
I have everybody in here that I'm responsible for in some way, shape, form. They may not feel that way, but that's my restitution.
And they get paid first.
For sure. No, for sure.
Nobody talks about that part.
Nobody will understand that.
They will never understand.
Because it's a me when the me is trying to get we.
You sacrifice yourself. So that's what a real boss is.
Yeah.
Being a boss is the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
The ultimate sacrifice. And it's the greatest sacrifice ever.
For sure.
I wouldn't have it no other way.
And I love it. I think that's what fasting gives me. It's that edge in life. Let's talk about just you helped shift the vegan culture in Black communities. Was there any resistance to it at first?
No. Because before I opened up Slutty Vegan, I was the one feeding my friends vegan food and seeing how they liked it and looking like, okay, taste this.
Yeah.
I want you to try this. And they're like, oh, this is really
This
good.
vegan?
Yeah. So like, you know, it's funny because after I opened up Slutty Vegan, I see all these brands trying to open up vegan food. And I'm like, y'all ain't real. Okay. Like y'all ain't doing this because you love this movement. Like you're doing this because you're trying to make $1. But for me, I wanted people who didn't know nothing about veganism to taste it, which is why my audience, 70% of the people who come to Slutty Vegan are meat eaters. because I wanted those people to be able to understand that, like, yo, like, you don't have to eat dead animals every day of the week.
Yep.
You feel me? Like, you can really have alternatives, even if it comes at a substitute of what it is that you like, right? Slutty Vegan sells burgers, pies, and fries, okay? I'm not telling you to eat Slutty Vegan every day, but what I am telling you is we're gonna meet you where you are. And if you can enjoy this, there's a possibility that you could even try incorporating other vegan options into your diet. I'm not walking around with a paintbrush, like, if you ain't vegan, like, you gonna die. That's not my MO. But what I do want people to know is that, like, you can have options. And you'd be surprised. It's so many people that come up to me and be like, Pinky, I ain't even never heard of veganism until it was for you, right? And like, oh, I didn't know fries were vegan until I met you or until I heard about Slutty Vegan. You know how that made me feel?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I'm freeing the people.
That's real impact.
Yeah, it's real impact. So here it is where we are now in 2.0. Imagine where this business is going to go in 10 years. If not for nothing, I'm going to show people that, like, there's a world inside of veganism, right? Like, you can try. When I tell you I made the best artichokes I ever made in my life this morning. Sauteed artichokes this morning, and it tastes like chicken. Like, there's options, and you don't have to just reduce yourself to one option just because you're a meat eater.
Now, what do you say to the people that say it may be vegan, but it's not healthy?
It's shit in the world that ain't healthy all day, every day.
Talk to me.
And I'm not an advocate to say every piece of vegan food is healthy, because it's not. Okay, there are unhealthy vegan options, and that's just the truth.
Yeah.
Right. And I'd be lying if I say, well, vegan food. But let me tell you about a healthier planet. Okay, the less meat that you eat, the healthier the planet can be.
Yeah.
Okay, the less meat that you eat, you could very well be healthier depending on the vegan meat that you're eating. Less cholesterol. Okay, lesser sodium. Like, there's levels to this.
Yeah.
So when I created Slutty Vegan, I really just wanted people to understand that there are other ways to eat. And you don't have to eat the hard stuff all day, every day. Everything in moderation. Just like when people eat meat and they eat all of their stuff, eat it in moderation. You eat too much of the same thing, it's a bad thing, right? And I'm not a doctor, right? But one thing about me is I've been vegan for a long time. This is my lifestyle, and I just wanted people to take a peek into my world, and that's exactly why I built Slutty Vegan.
Now, one of the crazier things that I constantly hear is two, really. It's, number one, being plant-based. How do you get your protein? That's a common question. But also, two, when people start to realize you're eating a processed version of something, like, what does that kind of, like, what's your antidote to those type of
Everything is processed.
Correct.
Like, everything that you eat is processed. When you get that piece of beef, when you go to the store and it's red, it ain't start red. They had to inject something in it to make it red, okay, that you're eating. Like, it ain't been sitting there red like that all the time, right? Food will be processed. Like, we live in a world where in order to mass produce it, they have to process it. Like, they just have to. But it's all about what it is that you eat, right? 75% of the time, I'm only eating food in the produce aisle. That's just how I like to eat for the most part, right? So I'm not eating food that I got to read a label on the back all the time, right? So it's about what it is that you eat. Like, you can get your protein from lentils and beans. You can have protein shakes when you're vegan. Like, people act like you got to be like a scientist to be vegan. It's really not that hard. Like, you're not a bird, and you don't have to eat salads all day long. Like, you can eat beans. You can eat artichokes. I love chickpeas. I'm Jamaican, so I'm eating curry chickpeas all the time. You know what I'm saying? I love bulgur. You ever heard of bulgur?
Yes and no.
Yeah, I love bulgur rice.
I don't know what
it's like a wheat. Yeah, I love bulgur. I love, like, I'm a vegetable girly. Steamed cabbage. Like, I love vegetables. So, like, I tap into the vegetables all the time. So that's less processed. But like, even fruits and vegetables be processed. People don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's about getting the items that are less processed. And if you're going to eat the stuff that's processed, just do it in moderation.
You know what I just thought about? What does a Thanksgiving look like in the Hayes household?
Well, Derek is a meat eater.
What does a Thanksgiving look like in the Hayes
Okay,
household?
so we have this rule that all of the sides in my house are vegan. Okay, so, like, I make all the sides.
So collard greens ain't got
collard greens got
chicken
vegan bacon bits
or hog maw.
And Derek made the best collard greens that I've ever had in my life.
That are
and everybody says
vegan.
it. Vegan. Every single side in my house is vegan. every side. And he'll make his meat, he'll make his stuff. My mother is vegetarian, so she eats fish, but that's it.
Pescatarian.
Pescatarian, yeah. So she eats fish. But every side is vegan. So my kids, my last daughter, she was vegan until last week.
No.
And she started eating chicken. Yeah, I was devastated. But it was because, I'm always on the road and my mother is watching her and like, you can't eat vegan chicken nuggets and fries every day. We just can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now she loves chicken and I'm just like, you know what? When she get older, like she could do what it is that she want to do, but she been tearing up that chicken. I'm like, damn girl, take a load off.
Yeah, them grandparents will do it every
Yeah, I'm like, golly.
Now.
Oh, what?
They're going to figure that out.
Listen, my 95-year-old grandmother, Darius' mother, she lives with us. We take care of her. And she, before my daughter was started eating meat again, she would be trying to sneak her chicken. I'm like, spit it out.
Oh, my God.
Spit it out now. So my daughter used to be like, Mommy, I'm vegan. And then she told me a couple days ago, like, I'm not vegan no more. I'm like, ooh. Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, I had an epiphany this past weekend myself. Jazz's mother was in town, and she's in town. She helps out, and my mother also helps out. And they had a moment in the kitchen, and I'm over here trying to charge up as a content creator. I'm charging up, my phones, I'm charging up my cameras for the next day and blah, blah, this. And all of a sudden they get to talking about our youngest is 6 months. And it was like, yeah, Nova, I gave him a chicken bone the other day.
You was like, what the hell?
My back was turned. I said, does Jazz know about this? I gotta go report the news. So when she sees this, she gonna realize, like, bruh, babe, hey, my mama been giving, the little one his own chicken bone, and he's like in that process of like eating real food.
Are the kids vegan?
No, far from it. They picky eaters. Like my son Chosen does not eat eggs. Kuda, all she wants is mac and cheese.
That's my daughter. Mac and cheese and boiled eggs is all she want to eat.
Boiled eggs is a favorite.
We go through a cart a day. I got a lot of kids.
You got a lot of kids.
You got a lot of kids. Okay, we neck and neck. How many kids you got?
9.
Oh, you got a lot of kids.
Yeah.
You got a lot of kids.
Yeah.
I got 5.
It's
okay,
there.
you done beat me.
It's there. But it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
It's there's nothing. I was posed this question the other day. It's like, when are you at your best? Like, if you could close your eyes and you can kind of take your mind, body, and spirit to a time what brings you most comfort. And I was like, yo, when I wake up, when my kids are with me, and I hear, it's like a stampede. Yes. The laughter, the giggling, the whining, the crying, just the joy of being a child. And I'm that dad that's like, bro, if we going outside, everybody get off the phone, we going outside. Come back in the house sweaty, musty, and you got a stench on you, so I can ship you straight to the shower. You know what I'm saying? Like, those type of things is nostalgic for me, that they would not understand and know too.
That's a good question, because when I'm at my best, it's when my kids say, Mommy, I love you so much. And it's just something in me that melt. Here it is, I'm just this big stature to the world. Yeah. But like, I crumble when my kids say that to me, because I'm like, damn, you see me. And they don't think it's nothing. They just like, Mommy, you're just the best mommy. And I'm like, why am I the best mommy? Because you take me outside. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, they don't even realize that they sparked something in me that I'm like, I gotta make it. Like, I gotta keep going. Yeah. Like, it's something in me that's like, I cannot quit. Yeah. Because I got people that's looking at me they don't even realize that they're expecting me to win. So I can't walk in the door and say, I'm done and I'm tired, I don't want to do it no more. Like,
their responsibility is greater than somebody else's hate.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's a reminder of the specialness that I've created every single time, man.
Obviously, talking to Derek before, very mellow, very calm. Who's the disciplinarian in the household?
My mother.
For real?
Yes.
Because I'm like, he's so chill, so cool.
No, when he in the house and, he got his little medicinal, what. Yeah. Okay, he ain't chill, okay? Like, he be lit with them kids, okay? Yeah. He be tossing them around. But, we got 5 kids, so, like, we have 3 girls and 2 boys. Yeah. So my kids are very active. They have very big personalities. Yeah. Like, there's no doubt about it that they are our kids. But when I'm around my kids, I'm always affirming them. So, like, when I'm talking to to my kids. I'm like, who's the best? They're like, me. Who's the smartest? Me. Who's the most intelligent? Me. I'm like, who's the best mom? And they're like, you. So like, I affirm them all the time because I want them to know who they are and whose they are all of the time. Yeah. So I'm that kind of parent. I'm like, sing ABCs, but do it like you on Broadway. Like, I'm that mommy. Okay. And then Derek, he just be tossing them around and want to throw them in the air, throw them on the bed. He's that kind of dad, right? So they get the best of both worlds, but they get that old school grandma from my mother, that old school Jamaican grandma, okay? They like take the dishes out the sink, like go clean up, go do this, like that's my mother. But then they also got my 95-year-old grandmother that's giving them that old wisdom. Like she pick them up and put them on her lap and, you know, she's still washing dishes at 95 and telling the kids what to do at 95. So my kids, they get like a trifecta. They get everything. They get it from us. They see the business. They see the entrepreneurship. They get my mother. They get his grandmother. Like it's a beautiful experience. And my kids go to Montessori school, so they're the smartest kids I ever seen in my life. You understand what I'm saying? So like when they see and like the TV will be on and my kids will be like, Mommy, that's you on TV. Mommy is famous. Like they be telling their friends like, my mommy is famous. And I just be laughing because I'm like, damn, like they recognize greatness in their mother. And when my kids grow up, I don't want them to be like nobody else. I want them to say, I want to be like my mommy. I want to be like daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm working hard.
For sure.
Like I want my kids to admire me in a way that like I got to strive to be as great as my mother. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about character. I'm talking about intellect. I'm talking about personality. I'm talking about when you walk in the room, the whole room light up. That's the energy that I'm speaking about.
I want to talk about something because what every child knows is this particular figure by the name of Miss Rachel. Yes. This viral moment that you had, right, in regards to trying to educate people about bankruptcy. And it was done in a very strategic way because some would say you was trolling, some would say you was deflecting, some would say you was educating, some would say so many different things. But how did that kind of come about and just encouraging the narrative of like, no, like I'm gonna use my situation to not hide from it, but lean into it?
I was trolling by way of educating. Because sometimes you got to put it on 808s for the people, right?
And it was hidden.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, when the story of my bankruptcy came out, I had already been filed for bankruptcy. I'm like, this is old news, but it's fresh to everybody else. So like everybody created these narratives like, oh, she's broke and like, oh, she da-da-da, but they don't really know. Remember, I just told you the story. I filed because the creditors from the old company was coming after me. So they made this whole narrative when they really didn't realize that it was just part 2 of my restructure, right? So all of that happened. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm a producer. I used to be a producer for the Maury Show. I'm like, I gotta convert these eyeballs.
Yeah.
I got people paying attention. What do you do when you have people's attention? Like I told you before, okay, you get them to tap into whatever it is that you want to share with them.
Right. And
I said, okay. So I realized that people don't know anything about bankruptcy. The people.
Our people.
Not even just our people.
No. I'm saying it because
I agree with that,
Go
but
ahead.
it ain't just our people. What I realize, because I'm in a lot of rooms. I'm in a lot of rooms with a lot of slow others, okay? So it ain't just our people. Our people, we got a long way to go, but there are a lot of people who do not understand bankruptcy. You got to understand, there's a lot of middle class, a lot of lower income, and that don't have no color. You understand what I'm saying? So my core audience is African American, let's be honest, right? So what you see on the internet, you got to understand TMZ broke the story. Yeah. So like that's a mixed audience. So you see the comments and you see all of the things. And I said, okay, I got the people paying attention. What am I going to do? I'm going to troll them, but I'm going to also educate them because if you know anything about my brand, I'm always known for uplifting, educating, building community, group economics. I raise money for people. I do this in real life, okay? So I said, I'm going to put this on 808s. I'm putting my television producer hat on and I got the writing. And I wrote a rap about bankruptcy because that's the only way that some people are going to understand what it is and how it is a tool. And when I tell you that thing went viral, not only did it go viral, it gave me several opportunities, okay? So while people thought that it was a negative, I got so many opportunities just from that negative press. People think that negative press is a bad thing, but that press converted into something positive when I've already dealt with the bankruptcy. Yeah. Okay, I've already filmed this for 14 weeks. I already dealt with this. Y'all just seeing it for the first time.
So I just want to, from my reality of what I've been experienced with and to. When I say our people, this is beyond bankruptcy. And what I'm trying to say is, I would want financial literacy and education around money to be a cool thing. And we don't know that. Especially when you have the impact or the ability to touch so many different people and impact so many different people and cultivate different groups through sports. And these kids are coming into a large sum of money quicker than I did. I became a millionaire at the age of 20, 21 years old. Well, these kids are becoming millionaires at 16, 17, and they don't understand the 3-letter T word, tax. And it's like, when I hear bankruptcy, it's like, no, I wasn't meaning it through the bankruptcy lens, more so was I meaning it through the financial literacy lens. Because, Mom, if you think that son that you've raised is your get out of jail free card with freeloading on him, or dad freeloading on your son, or uncle freeloading on your nephew, or we all got to be educated to the understanding where there's a way to do it. I remember having this conversation with a player who came into a large sum of money through his NIL, and he was like, "Man, Cam, I want to give my mama some money. How should I do it?" I was like, "Bro, you got to start an LLC. You got to start a business, and it may not be an LLC specifically, but you got to structure something, and you got to operate your life as a business because it is. You can't just give just 10 bands to somebody.
You hit it on the nose.
Because it's like,
and here's the advice for the athletes that are watching this. You come up into some money, you get you an LLC, you operate as an entity, you put your mother on payroll, okay, and you pay her a paycheck bi-weekly, every other week, or your family members, but make sure that they're doing something real that will contribute to what it is that you're doing. Who's doing your social? Is she washing your clothes? Is she making sure that the house is clean? Call her the house manager, hell, but put her on payroll, okay, so that you can give her a paycheck every single week, and that money can be taxed.
And it goes to a budget.
And you budget, yes. It's very simple. So it's funny that you said that, because, I partner with Earn Your Leisure to do a financial literacy series. They my guys. Yeah. A financial literacy series where I'm putting the information on 808s, because I realize that a lot of us don't know the information. So I'm taking very complex subjects in business and I'm breaking them down like a 5th grader, but it's for adults.
No, for sure.
Okay, so it's giving Miss Rachel on steroids. And some people laughed at it like, well, that's a little cringy. Let it be cringy, but you're going to learn.
No, for sure.
Okay, because I had to learn the hard way. All of the lessons that I'm teaching, I had to learn the hard way, and now I'm teaching it the easy way. Yeah. So, I saw, I'll be seeing stuff online with like the new athletes, and they come up on all this money, and I'll be like screaming at the screen, right? Because I know what it feels like not to have the right people around you, and you just think that $1 million or $2 million is a lot of money. It's really not. Yeah. Once you break down them taxes, and you got to pay an agent, and you got to pay all of these people.
All these fees.
All of these fees, it ain't nothing left. Yeah. It ain't nothing left. So you got to make sure, when I tell you, having team is in everything. It just ain't in football. It just ain't in basketball. It's in business. You got to have the right team. Because when you have the right team, you got the right quarterback. Okay, the quarterback who gonna run it back on the financials, making sure that everything is good. The running back, that's the operations. They on the ground. You making sure that everybody is in place, and that's how you get the ring. You feel me? That is how you like what I did there.
I like that.
That's how you get the ring. You understand what I'm saying? But you gotta have the right team. And maybe I needed to go through what I went through in business so that I could be the spokesperson to talk to new entrepreneurs, especially Black entrepreneurs who are coming up in the game. Make sure you have that right team. Don't cut no corners on the team. Yeah. Okay? Like, don't get no ChatGPT resumes. Get real people who can help you scale your business, because it's really easy once you find the right people to help you take you there.
Right. I want to talk about something that was extremely interesting to me, but you kind of skimmed it. But you was a producer of a well-known show. We was joking, as we were preparing for this. It was like, if we was watching Maury, if we was watching Jerry Springer, if we was watching all these talk shows like Ricky Lake, that means we skipped school or we didn't have school. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How was producing for Maury and how did that fall into place?
That was the best experience of my life. And it was the best experience of my life because it showed me that Black people ain't the only people that got problems.
Hello. When it comes to 6-year-old Thomas.
You are not the father.
Xavier, you are not the father. I told y'all, boo.
Listen, let me tell you something. I became a therapist. I was a pastor. I learned how to use hard and soft skills because you're dealing with people with different socioeconomic backgrounds. You're dealing with people who, some people on Section 8, some people stay-at-home moms, people from all walks of life, but it allowed me to learn people. That's why I've never met a stranger. I can meet a white person, I can meet a Black person, an Indian, an African, and I can treat you the same. You know why? Because I've had the experience to meet so many different people. Yeah. So what it also did for me is it allowed me to tap into my creativity, right? So like I could be as fluid as I wanted in the creativity, and I took all of that skill set and I put it over to Slutty Vegan.
Is that show real though?
It's very real.
Because like I
only do real
I'm looking
things.
at the documentary with Jerry Springer right now, and
that wasn't real.
The producers they come into fruition and they say like, yo, we had to manipulate this storyline, and it affected real people, and they had emotional turmoil from that. But I would like a favor to get Maury on the show. Because
I can make that happen.
He's a 4 or 5 man. What?
You owe me one if I get. I just got him on Housewives. Okay.
What? I seen it. I seen the clip.
That's my guy.
No, for sure. It's like there's certain figures in life that you see or you witness them, and that nostalgic impact that. There's nothing about a lot of things, but when it comes to Maury, he screams 90s or early 2000s. And it's like he had an ability, he would roll them shirt sleeves up and he'd just get to talking and sit on them glasses and take them glasses off, and he would work the crowd, and he was always like the OG, like the uncle or the cool dad around the block, that he had this mannerism about himself that was just so welcoming, but also he was with the T. You know what I'm saying? So
done. It's done.
Say less.
It's done. Anything else?
No,
okay.
We're gonna talk after.
All right.
It's a lot. But what's next for Pinky?
What is next for Pinky? I used to operate within like, Pinky, where you see yourself in the next 5 years? And I used to have all of these bullets down and everything used to just be down, down, down. I'm in the flow right now. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah.
I am in the flow, and I'm happy about being in the flow. And for the past couple of days, I've done a lot of nothing. And that's the first time in 8 years that I've done a lot of nothing. Like, I just did a press run, obviously, but outside of that, like, I'm at home with my kids, like, I'm cooking, right? Like, I'm just chilling, laying, being a bum.
It's not being a bum. It's you're recharging.
I'm recharging. I ain't never do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? like, and I realized how necessary it is to recharge.
Yeah.
And I finally get to recharge for a second, and I doom scroll sometimes. And like, I'm strategizing. I'm on Claudisha and ChatGPT, okay, thinking about my next plan to take over the world. Yeah. So I have been in a constant state of flow and gratitude because I almost didn't make it here. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody who's not mentally strong probably would have just off theyself if they would have went through what I just recovered from. Wow. You understand what I'm saying? So what I see for my business is I see great success in Slutty Vegan because it's happening right now with all of the franchises that we're signing up, with all of the new opportunities that are coming with the business. And personally, I'm just really leaning more into my marriage.
Wow.
To be honest, right? Like, all we do is work. Like, all we do is grind, and we building, and like, we've already proven our concepts. We both have $100 million brands. We both have very successful brands. But I'm excited about like getting my friend back. You understand what I'm saying? And that's kind of like the state and energy that I'm in. But I'm going to toss that question back to you. Where do you see yourself?
I'm building a network.
Love that.
One episode at a time.
I love it.
One creative thought at a time. And you say it, but I genuinely mean I'm nothing without my team. And there's times where I have to detach myself because as you grow and scale your company, the morals and principles that you believe in, it may not mean it's not good for business. It's just to create certain policies. Like, I'm a guy's guy. I'm a very family-oriented person that needs the talks. But sometimes in business, in these days, I don't get to talk to people like I want to. I don't get to check in on the people that I work alongside with every single day. But as my vision never alters, and I want every single person that I see on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, that make me look good, it's always an appreciation because I know that my team, the best thing that I can get, and I wish I could just kind of bottle up that emotion, because everywhere I go, man, your content, bro, I rock with your show, bro. And it's because of the John Pierres, it's because of the Riches, it's because of the Jimbos, it's because of the Double D's, it's because of the Latras, the John A's, and so many people behind the scenes that allow me to just do what I enjoy doing, and that's being a talent, just being a free spirit. So, you know, with that, I look at a situation where it may not look tangible to some, but I know what that promise that was granted on my heart, and I know that I ain't tripping. You feel me? My last question for you is, what advice would you give Black women entrepreneurs building something big, but trying to protect their peace at the same time?
Ooh. Peace is priceless. You can't pay for it. You can't take a course for it. Nobody can tell you how to get it. When you are growing a company and you're growing a business, the only way that you get to peace is you really have to go through the highs and the lows, the ebbs and the flows, so that you can understand what it is that you want and what it is that you don't want, okay? Before, it was about building this billion-dollar company, and I'm like, okay, so what's after that? Now, I'm working for the peace, okay? Because the level of peace is going to provide me a freedom to wake up and take my kids to school, right? Those are the little things that we didn't even know that we wanted, right? To wake up and go out in a yard, like you said, and play with your kids and everybody come back funky.
Yeah.
Like, that's peace.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? To travel the world with my children, that is peace. But it took for me to go through everything that I went through, good, bad, and indifferent, to find that peace. So on the way to finding peace, God will take you through a journey. And it don't always have to be bad or struggle. I'm not talking about struggle. I'm talking about that the road that you take to fulfill the assignment that God has given you. And everybody has the assignment within us. Not everybody knows how to unlock the assignment. But when you can understand how to unlock the assignment, that's when you get into your vehicle of success, not money, but of success, and you drive to that destination of peace. Because at the end of the day, that's really why we're working so hard.
Yeah.
Think about it. We all working hard because we want to find a level of peace. That's it. It has nothing to do with money. Peace is really the currency, okay, that's at the highest level of the totem pole. Peace is God. Peace is friendship. Peace is family. You understand what I'm saying? Peace is relaxation. Peace is not worrying about bills. That is what peace is. You may have to go through some hills and some valleys to get to the peace, but when you get to peace, peace tastes so sweet. And I'm finally experiencing that level of peace, and money is not involved.
It's that promised land.
Yeah. I got an idea for you.
Talk to me.
I got to give it to you before we finish.
Talk to me.
My spirit just told me to tell you that you need to create the cigar factory. You ever been to Hershey Park?
No, ma'am.
Okay. When you go to Hershey Park, I don't even know if they still have it, but Hershey Park is like, you go through a factory, you could see them making the chocolate, okay? I'm not a cigar smoker, but I noticed that on this program you smoke cigars, right? So what if there was a place where, just like Build-A-Bear, but you can build your own cigar, but not like with a table and they just putting it together. I'm talking about a factory that's an experience, and you walk through the door and it's Cam Cigar Factory or whatever name that you want to call it, okay? And when they walk through the door, you get to pick the, what's the base?
Leaf.
You pick and it's leaves from around the world. You got leaves from Argentina, leaves from Africa, leaves from whatever. So you pick your leaf first, okay? So it's a menu of assortments, okay? And then you pick the kind of tobacco. You want a strawberry tobacco, you want blueberry, you want all of these things, and then you can engrave it and you can put whatever name and you pick it, and at the end you see the factory making your cigar in real time, and then at the end you can get them to put it in a box. And they can put it in a bag, and they can put a nice bow on it, and they give it to you just like Build-A-Bear. And it's the world famous cigar factory located in Atlanta, Georgia, and you are going to own it. My spirit just told me that I needed to tell you that. Yes. So do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's too hard. I gotta go find me a cigar sommelier. I got one though.
You need to do it.
It will happen.
It's so on brand.
It's so.
Everybody that watches the show will go, because now you can do a drop every single fucking episode.
You're talking my language, sister. As we end things here at Funky Friday, when I say all together, we're gonna say one love. When I say all together, we're gonna say one love. When I say all together, we're gonna say what?
One love.
One hand out, one finger, one pinky, one thumb. Yeah, go on and get your gang sign. This is love. This is love. This is love. All together, one love. Ladies and gentlemen, Pinky Cole. Yes.
That was good. That was good. Of course. Cigar Factory.
No, that's done.